and welcome to Stand Up Diaries, entry 13. And yesterday was the email in to Yuck Yucks to try to get on their amateur night at the downtown location, and I hadn't been on since my 100th show, and 200 have elapsed since then, so I was excited to get the nod. I decided to bring my camera, and comedy clubs are a good place to film your sets because usually there's a good backdrop and the audience is fairly full. And I performed, and I wouldn't say I had the best set I've ever performed. The camera always adds a little bit of extra nerves, and it's like an audience member that you're, uncomfortable around or something like that. And at comedy clubs, the stakes are always higher as well. If someone notices you at the comedy club that works there, they could recommend you to be on a showcase. And a showcase is basically a Tuesday night show that's a select group of comedians that may or may not make it to their Wednesday night show. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a leveling up, if you will. So I want to have a good performance, but you know what? I think my comfort level wasn't as where I wanted it to be, and that kind of showed a bit. But that happens, all in a day's work. It's all practice, and now I know that next time I should maybe film my sets a little bit more often so that I'm not as nervous when I bring the camera out. So that'll be a good future lesson learned for that. And then I went to Sonic after. It's my favorite little hangout on Tuesday where all my friends kind of go and congregate, and I performed a set there, and it's a very small little place. And actually that set went over pretty well. If you have 5 to 10 engaged audience members that are feeling you and you're feeling good on stage, it actually makes you feel better than if you have like 50 that kind of maybe give you more laughs like cumulatively, but that weren't as engaged as a whole. So, that's kind of interesting. And I talked to Mick Foley, my childhood hero. He does stand up, and I went to see him at Yuck Yucks, and I talked to him for a second, and he actually said that performing in front of 300 people at a show for comedy is more fun for him than when he's performed for like 30,000 people as a wrestler, because of just how intimate it is and how engaged he feels. And I actually totally get that. But anyways, that's been your next edition of Stand Up Diaries. I've been Michelle Christine.